Hello. So in this session, we are going to do a virtual tour of sorts to various national parks in the U.S. So we're gonna kind of go through the ABCs of national parks and learn a little bit about them. This will be part one of two parts. So I hope you learn a lot about all these beautiful parks that is offered and available for visitors across the U.S. And maybe there are some that you've actually visited and will bring back some memories of your visits and your trips to those parks. So I hope you enjoy and you learn something new about these parks. First things first, we must know what a national park is. A national park is an area set aside by a national government for the preservation of the natural environment. A national park may be set aside for purposes of public recreation and enjoyment, or because of its historical or scientific interest. Most of the landscapes and their accompanying plants and animals in a national park are kept in their natural state. The national park in the United States and Canada tend to focus on the protection of both land and wildlife. Those in the United Kingdom focus mainly on the land, and those in Africa primarily exist to conserve animals. Several other countries have large areas reserved in national parks, notably Brazil, Japan, India, and Australia. The first park that we're going to talk about is Arches National Park. Okay, so does anyone know what state you would be in if you were visiting Arches National Park? If you guessed Utah, you are correct. Arches National Park is located in southern Utah, near Moab. How many documented arches do you think there are in the park? Could you imagine seeing 2,000 arches if you hiked around Arches? Some may have fallen, but new ones are forming today. The tallest arch is called Double Arch South, and it is 112 feet tall. The next national park that we're going to learn about is the Badlands National Park. It is located in South Dakota. The Badlands covers 244,000 acres of South Dakota. What do you think helped form the plateaus and pinnacles that make up the landscape today? The answer is shallow sea when they first started forming 75 million years ago. The forces of nature that sculpted the park through the years are still at work, which means the terrain is constantly and slowly shifting. According to the National Park Service, the Badlands erode at a rate of 1 inch per year. 1 million people visit the park every year. Did you know that the vast area of the Badlands was actually used as backdrops for movies? Do you know what movies those could be? Did you ever watch the movie Dances with Wolves or Starship Troopers or even Armageddon? All three of these movies used Badlands, vast area, as some of the backdrops for their scenes. C is for Crater Lake National Park. Crater Lake is located in the state of Oregon. Question: what was Crater Lake formed by? Crater Lake was formed by the fall of a volcano. Mount Mazama, a 12,000 foot tall volcano, erupted and collapsed approximately 7,700 years ago. True or false? Crater Lake is one of the snowiest places in the United States. The answer is true. On average, Crater Lake gets 43 feet of snow each year, to 1.4 inches of snow every day for a year. The park's official winter season lasts from November to April. That is a lot of snow. Did you know that Crater Lake's elevation offers stunning views across the lake and up above? The warm glow of the sunrise fills Crater Lake in the early mornings with colors reflecting off the water and snow. Sunsets in the park are just as spectacular. One clear moonless night, starscapes illuminate the park, and visitors can see satellites, planets, and the arms of the Milky Way. D is for Death Valley National Park. It's mostly located in California, but along the border of Nevada. What makes Death Valley so unique in North American terrain? What makes it so unique is that Death Valley is the lowest point in North America. At 282 feet below sea level, Badwater Basin is a surreal landscape that tricks the senses. What many visitors mistake for snow covering the ground is actually a thick layer of salt on there. Rain and minerals dissolved from the rocks drain to lower elevations. What do you think is the hottest temperature on record at Death Valley? In July of 2018, the hottest place on Earth experienced its hottest month on record. The average temperature was 108.1 Fahrenheit degrees, including overnight lows. Daytime highs reached a temperature of 127 degrees for 4 days in a row, and we thought Phoenix was hot. Did you know that when the sand slides down the steep faces of high dunes, a sound like the bass note of a pipe organ or the distant drone of an airplane can be heard? E is for the Everglades National Park. It is located in Florida. True or false? The Everglades is the largest subtropical wilderness that remains in North America today. The answer is true. The Everglades is situated between temperate North America and the tropical Caribbean. 9 distinct types of ecosystems have been identified within the Everglades National Park. Fun fact about the species found in the Everglades. The Everglades contains one of the highest concentrations of species vulnerable to extinction in the United States. 39 native Florida species found in the Everglades National Park are federally listed as threatened or endangered, or are candidates for listing under the Endangered Species Act of 1973. Some of the unique listed species found in the Everglades includes the Florida panther, American crocodile, West Indian manatee, wood stork, and snellkite. 7 of the listed species in the Everglades National Park are currently considered to be extirpated, meaning they are no longer present in the park. And 2 of the species, the Cape sable, seaside sparrow, and the Florida leaf-winged butterfly, are only found in the park and its adjacent lands. The next national park is the Grand Tetons. It is located on the borders of Wyoming and Idaho. The Teton Range is thought to be the youngest mountain range in the Rocky Mountains, with its formation beginning between 6 and 9 million years ago. The Grand Teton National Park took decades to establish. Congress created the original park in 1929 to protect the Teton Range and several lakes at the foot of the mountains. In 1943, Franklin D. Roosevelt declared national land in the valley to be Jackson Hole National Monument. H is for Hot Springs National Park. It's located in Arkansas. The park calls itself the oldest area in the national park system because in 1832, 40 years before Yellowstone became the first national park, President Andrew Jackson set aside the hot springs as a special reservation. The federal land became a national park in 1921. Have you ever sat and enjoyed the hot springs before? How many heated springs do you think the ecosystem supports in the park? A, 33, B, 79, C, 47, or D, 61? If you guessed 47 springs, you are correct. Next on our list of travels is to the Royale National Park. It's located around the Canada border and the Michigan-Minnesota border. True or false? Royale National Park is the only national park in the United States that completely closes in the off-season. The answer is true. The park is typically closed November through mid-April because of the winter snowy months. Another true and false question about the Royale. Royale is connected to Lake Superior and can be reached by car. The answer is actually false. The park is actually far out from Lake Superior and can only be reached by charter boat or seaplane. Fun fact, surrounding the island is a collection of well-preserved shipwrecks, which are accessible to scuba divers. I wonder if you can find buried treasure there. The next national park for J is Joshua Tree National Park. Joshua Tree National Park covers 1,235 square miles and is the second largest national park in California after Death Valley. What we as visitors see is only about 15% of the park area. The remaining 85% is managed as wilderness. While there are some backcountry trails that go into that wilderness, the landscape and climate are pretty forbidding, and it takes a pretty hardy hiker to handle it. So those lands remain fairly untouched. Early explorer John Fremont described Joshua trees as, quote, the most repulsive tree in the vegetable kingdom. Mormon pioneers were more impressed by the trees. They thought the limbs of the Joshua trees resembled the upstretched arms of Joshua, leading them to the promised land, and the tree's name is thought to have come from them. So what kind of tree is a Joshua tree? The Joshua tree is actually a yucca plant and is in the same subgroup that includes flowering grasses and orchids. It grows primarily in the Mojave Desert, but you can also sometimes find them in Sonoran Desert hanging out with the saguaro cactus. They are a slow mover, growing just 1 to 3 inches per year. Based upon the growth rate, some researchers think that the average lifespan for the tree is 150 years. This next national park is located in Alaska, and it is the Katmai National Park. Katmai National Park covers a total area of 4,725,188 acres. The number of people visiting the park in 2019 was 84,167. It was made a national park on December 2nd, 1980. So I gave away this question, but where is the Katmai National Park located? It is located in a remote area of southern Alaska in a historical, very active volcanic area. Did you know that Katmai area is a home to about 2,000 grizzly or brown bears, the largest concentration known? People come from all over the world for the sole purpose of viewing them. World-famous Brooks Falls is the most popular place to view the bears. The falls platform has a limited capacity of only 40 people. During the busy summer season, visitors are limited to 1 hour at a time on the falls platform. Another national park found in Alaska is Lake Clark National Park. Lake Clark is more than 40 miles or 65 kilometers long and is the largest of more than a score of glacial lakes on the rim of the Chigmid Mountains, a range located where the Alaska and Latunan Range just meet. There are 2 active volcanoes, Redoubt and Yamuna in the Chipmunk Mountains. Both rise to more than 10,000 feet above sea level. The park has 3 rivers, the Mulchatna, Chilkatia, and Chikadrotna, that have been officially designated wild and scenic by the National Park Service. And this strictly fly-in park with no roads, canoeing or kayaking is the only way to get close to this magnificent wilderness. The park's rivers and lakes also offer some of the finest fishing in the world, with Dolly Varden trout, northern pike, and 5 kinds of salmon. The next national park that we're going to talk about is Mesa Verde National Park. It is located in Colorado. True or false? Mesa Verde is the only national park in the United States created to protect cultural and historical sites rather than natural features. The answer is true. There are more than 4,000 archaeological sites and 600 cliff dwellings in Mesa Verde National Park. Mesa Verde was inhabited by ancestral Pueblo people from 600 AD to 1300 AD. By the 13th century, their productive dry farming allowed the Mesa Verde population to grow, perhaps as high as 5,000. Increased population and the 24-year regional drought placed the communities under stress. This is a possible reason why ancestral Pueblo people left Mesa Verde. The 211 square kilometer national park contains ruins of homes and villages built by these people. I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit more about some of the national parks of the United States. Again, this is just part 1. Part 2, we will explore some more national parks next month in February. I hope you enjoyed seeing some of the beauty that these national parks have to offer and learn something new. And if you've ever traveled and visited any of these national parks, I hope that it brought back some fond memories of your trips and adventures there.